Okay, we are live. It's Mary and Dave from PsychicSoulmateReading.com. I'm just waiting for some people to come into the room. Hi, Crystal, Malvin, or Mavin. I'm so happy that you guys are here. Okay, I'm happy that you're joining us. We're here to talk about the difference of what is ego and what is your intuition. That's what we want to talk about today.
I don't know the difference.
Well, like I get a lot of people DMing me and asking me, what is the difference? You know, what's the difference? How do I know if it's just my mind talking to me, or is it just, am I actually getting a vision? So it's like, you know, all these things just pop into your head. So that's what we're going to talk about. And if you're joining us, welcome. If you're watching the replay, so happy that you are. And yeah, I'm just waiting for some more people to come into the room. And hi Pippa, hi Lisa, just so happy that you guys are here. Yeah, and yeah, so how is everybody today?
I'm doing good.
I'm doing great. We got our Java here, and
I'm doing well.
Yeah, we're just ready to, so excited that you guys are here. And yeah, so I wanted to clear the energy first. That's what I do. When I do readings, I always like to clear the energy space after every reading, after every session. The reason why is because there's a lot of stuff that goes on into the air. It's kind of like dust. It's like dust particles, energy. And sometimes things just get stuck there. And that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. It's like you have to, you know, cleanse and shower every day. It's like, you know, something that should be done daily, right? Or actually more than daily. It's like it should be done often. And so what I use is sage, and you've seen me this. If you've gotten readings from me, I've cleansed my cards and cleansed you and cleansed the energy. And also I use a tuning fork to cleanse the energy.
Okay.
And right now, I'm going to use a singing bowl today for all of us. And I just love the sound because what it does is it reshapes and it resets the energy is what it does. It's just, sound is very powerful. Okay, just think about when you hear a song and you're in a kind of a, you know, like your mood is a little down, right? And you hear his favorite song. It's like the sound automatically just turns the energy around, right? Dave probably can answer more about sound.
No, that's good.
Because he knows about music. Good. Well, more the technical stuff about it.
I don't want to go deep into it.
No, you don't have to.
You know me,
Yes, and so yeah, so we're gonna be answering some questions and talking about it, and also maybe if there's time, maybe we'll pull some cards. Oh, I forgot to put my timer on. I put everything else on. Okay, so I'm gonna just do this. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is just find a comfortable spot and just sit up straight or lie down and close your eyes and just feel the energy. Okay, so I'm just gonna do this now. Okay. Yeah, intention is everything. It's everything. I have feathers in here. I put feathers in here because it carries a vibration, and it doesn't matter, even if you're watching the replay, you'll still feel it. Even if you're just tuning in live, you're going to feel it. Even if you're different time zone and far away, you're going to feel it. That's the way it travels. Okay. And what it does is it cleanses the energy so we can be able to just tap in, right? Because we all have psychic ability, right?
Yeah, that was great, babe. I'm just going to quickly say that it's interesting because Mary and I in some ways we have completely different ways of working, but I love the way you do it, and like I use techniques like this as well, but I also, for me, what works the best is when I just, I take time to be alone just for a few minutes and clear my ego out of the way. And there's a technique or sort of way that I just sort of go in and clear all my ego out and surrender everything that I'm going to be doing, the work that I'm going to be doing, or the talking I'm going to be doing, to that it's not me, it's not my energy being used, it's higher energy that is engaged. That's how I do it, and that's what works the best for me, I find. But everybody has to find, they're all great techniques, so just find what works for you. That's
yeah, it's about raising the vibe, raising the vibration, and getting quiet, like Dave said, getting quiet, because we need to get quiet. And when we get quiet, we can hear our intuition. And there's just, like, I can talk about meditation, I can talk about all of that. Like, that is getting quiet. Meditating is a way to just dive in. But sometimes when you are very busy, you don't have the time to. And just like someone's saying, Angel Heaven, she's got, wait, hold on. I can never be alone. My 4 kids are always with me. Correct. Okay, my kids were little too at one point. I remember. So you got to find your sacred space. That's what I was going to say. You find a little corner. For me, it was the bathroom.
It only takes a minute too, like literally.
Yeah.
When I said a minute or two, I literally meant a minute or two.
Because we would love to have all that time to do that, and it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. But it does happen when you just find like a 5-minute thing. The best time?
Go ahead, babe.
No.
You go ahead.
I was just going to say, in the morning, when you first wake up in the morning, like when I first wake up in the morning, that is when I'm feeling the most intuitive. And when I don't have time, when the day's going to be busy and I know I have lots of clients and I got lots of things to do, I just tune in,
right.
5 minutes, that's it.
Or even, I was going to say, let's say you have a job where you work somewhere, you work in an office, as an example, and you have a break to go to the washroom, or you have a lunch break or something. Just stay in the washroom for a minute extra and just sort of reset your, all it takes is one conscious breath to stop that train of thought from constantly going and identifying with it completely. And then you can start to tune in again. Yeah.
And also, just tuning into nature, like if you can go outside and just go for a nice walk.
Great.
Looking at we got the fall, where we're at the, it's autumn here in the north part of the equator. And so North America. So we have beautiful, nothing's turned yet, but you've seen that the air feels crisp, things feel crisp, but just the energy of going outside and just feeling that the colors of the leaves when they're going to start to turn, that helps you to get more in touch with your, aligns you with your true being. And when you are aligned, you can listen to it. And we all are psychic. That's what I wanted to say earlier. We Absolutely. All have psychic ability. Okay. It's a muscle, and I've said this before. Psychic ability is a muscle, and we have it in different ways. And a lot of people don't like to use that word psychic because it's been overplayed, and there's an expectation that I'm going to read your mind and I'm going to know it all. I know all, and but I'll tell you, it's another word is intuition, but that's like a little bit more tamed down. So it's like basically it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
It's tapping into something that you were born with, something that you have inside of you. And yeah, we are human, so we all have an ego. Everybody has an ego, so we have mind. When I say ego, I don't mean egotistic. I'm talking about when we are into our heads and we let our minds make up stories and we're thinking all these things. Well, and doubt yourself, and it happens to the best of us. It does. And this is where we always, you always hear us, Dave and I, always talking about raising your vibration so you can get more in touch with your true being and with your intuition. So it comes in different ways. Like there is I'll just go really quickly. There is claircognizance, which is knowing. I think I said that right.
Claircognizance.
Cognizance.
That's good enough.
Yeah, so you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's just knowing. When you just know something, you just know. A hunch really deep and strong. Then there's clairvoyance, which is your third eye, and that sees. You see visions. I get that that was my first one that I got developed when I was very young, when I was a little girl. I just saw visions. I see things, right? In my I just zone out and I just see it. And then there's also clairsentience, which is feeling. That's when you just, you just know something. It's different than empathic. Empathic is just feeling, and a lot of us are empaths, and we just feel the energy of it all. But it's not the same as clairsentience, where we actually are getting a vision, or inside we're feeling the energy more intense, and we're feeling something of the soul deeper. You know, it's a little bit deeper. And then there's Clara audience, I think it's called, and it's where you hear the messages, and it's scary. That is a scary one. That can be because you hear voices. You actually hear. I hear radio, like a radio station, and I was like, where'd that come from? And I'm not going to get into what I've heard and what I've seen and like what I've heard from this when this gift developed a little bit stronger for me. But it is strong, and it comes out with songs, actually, music.
I want to bring it back to what we said earlier, and I want to bring it down to earth. Okay, so that's true. All those things are faculties that we have, but just in terms of that, everybody has some psychic ability, like Mary said earlier. Think of when you have the sense that, you know, somebody's watching you, or you look at someone and they turn and look at you. You know, that's everyday experience. Everybody's had that. That's psychic ability right there. Or, you know, when you're walking or driving and you kind of, let's say you're making a left turn at the intersection, you can't really see, and you're kind of projecting your energy forward to really feel your way, and you can intuitively sense what's going on, even though you can't completely see everything. And, or, you know, you're walking around a corner somewhere and you can reach your energy around that corner and feel or sense if somebody's coming or not. You know, everybody can do those things, and we take it for granted as a part of everyday life. We're using those abilities all the time. We just aren't always conscious of it.
Right.
And we always get messages. Think of all the times that, you know, something happened in your life, a situation already happened, and you're reflecting on it and you go, oh, I knew it. I had that feeling that I should have listened to that feeling, that, or that voice, or that sense that I should have done it this way, but I didn't listen, and I went with my mind, you know. So it's just showing we are always getting messages, everybody. So, go ahead.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, there's just so many messages that come through, and you know, like a lot of us can, there's actual spirit guides that give us messages, and there's also animal guides too, like the animal totems. Like you'll see an animal, for me, I see lots of birds. Okay, and the birds, it's dangerous because when I'm driving, I'm like, oh, what's that, a bird? No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, I do look, and I'm like, oh,
that's why I do most of the driving.
Yeah, but it's true. It's like the bird are actually, because I see like the most interesting birds. It's like, where did that bird come from? And then I go and I look it up. What did that bird mean? Because those are messages, and the guides, spirit guides, I call them spirit guides. They are giving those messages to you. They want to help you. Like the universe wants to be there for you. Okay, it is there for you actually. But the birds, they send messages through birds, through animals, through squirrels. I mean, I can go on with what the animals can tell you, but it's not about that. It's about listening to all of it, right? Like even numbers. How many of you guys see numbers, right? How many people see the number game? I mean, like 1111, and we see, like I'll look at my watch, and no, I don't see it now, but normally I see like tons of numbers, you know, and, you know, like just different things like will come up, okay? And so it's pretty interesting, and they all mean something. Everything means something. Sorry, I'm looking at your guys' questions and comments, and I'm just like, well, losing my train of thought a little bit here. But I'm just saying, like the messages, like your guys is giving me messages. We all, like when we do readings, it's like, I'm getting a message too as well, you know. And 1111 is actually a very, very sacred number.
I agree, lots of sacred numbers, but here's something that I want to point out. I mean, I know when I first started seeing numbers, it was back in the early 90s. And at that time, there was no internet, at least in the mainstream so much. And I didn't know anything about, I'd never seen a book, I'd never seen anything about it. But I knew deep inside that it meant something. But I didn't know quite how to decipher things, except for I just used traditional numerology. But anyways, aside from that, we do get messages all the time, but what happens, it's how to decipher the messages, because a lot of people don't realize they'll project their ego's desires onto that message. You'll, like maybe somebody will see the number 1122, just an example, a random example. And they'll think that means that my significant other, or my twin flame, or the soulmate, the person I want to be with, that's really not treating me the way I deserve, is going to be with me, and because they'll project what they want onto that. That's not necessarily what that number means, and it doesn't mean that you're not following your intuition by being involved with that person, because like Mary said, the universe has your back. Yes, the universe does have your back, but, and this is a big but, it doesn't have your ego's back, okay? If anything, it's here to mostly gently break down your ego, but sometimes it has to shake you, and get your attention. So the universe always has your back, but it's biased towards your personal and spiritual growth. So that's why sometimes you'll think, I could have sworn my intuition told me to go into that situation. Why did it turn out not the way I wanted? Or why did it not work out the way I wanted it to? Because you were following your intuition, but it just wasn't meant to satisfy your ego in that case. Sometimes it does though, but a lot of times it might not, right?
Yeah. You see, your ego will confuse you. I always say that if I'm confused on making a choice, then that is my ego. No, okay, it's because we're not listening to our heart, or not heart, but just the intuition part. The part of our brain that is giving us messages. Like, we are readers. We are all readers. And we have spirit guides that actually there's so much that we don't know that's going on in this world. I mean, seriously, we are living 3D, but there's much more. Do you ever have those strange phenomenal energy things that happen in your life, and you're going like Dave was saying, like you just said, okay, I'm getting a message, but then all of a sudden you just don't take it. It's like you didn't listen, and it's like just certain things, and then the universe will give, your guides will give you something else over again. It's like they're nudging you. You get these phenomenal things that happen, like it's unexplainable. Like, these things are unexplainable because we are only using 10% of our brains. That's true. We are much more capable. Our intelligence, we are much more capable than what we are, than what we're experiencing. And so the ego is the one that stops us. Now, to say what I do, okay, or to anybody that does it, it's the light work, clairvoyance. It's just developing those gifts a little bit, those talents a little bit stronger and deeper. Okay, just to give you an example, being an artist, somebody that's a born artist, or they just have that knack, and they go to art school to take it to the next level. And so that's just to broaden it and to make it stronger. So it's like a muscle to make it stronger. So that is what the intuition is you have, but the ego is the mind that says, no, you can't. So that's the whole thing. It's about letting go. So you got to find the ways to let go of the ego, or to release it. I shouldn't say let go of the ego. That's not a word.
I think that I would agree personally.
It's more like, trying to live in alignment to your truth and to live in grace. And when I say that, I mean to be more flowing. I mean more positive and just living a life of love, because the secret to it all is love, and tapping into love, because it's like people come into our lives to show us something about ourselves that we have inside of ourselves. Okay, and so that is what we are. We are mirrors to each other, and we're all here to help one another. We're all here to be each other's students and teachers, and we are all here for a reason to do that for each other. Now, someone asked about, and I'm just kind of changing it a little bit. Somebody asked about if they see letters. That's a word. So there's if you see BBB, or if you see the letters over and over, that it's all relative. It's all the same. Just everything has some kind of significance to your intuition that's telling you, and all we got to do is just look at it, because a reality is as much as a dream is a reality, and you can create that. I'm not going to go into the law of attraction, but we have the ability to manifest our heart's desires that is aligned with our highest good. Right,
it's aligned. Oh, yeah, awesome. I agree, honey. I was going to say, to add to that, or maybe say it in a slightly different way, that definitely the problem where I see, at least with the people I've spoken with and clients I've spoken with over the years, that where people get stuck is overthinking it. Like, they'll really get hung up on a certain symbol or a certain message and try to be figuring it out. That's definitely blocking intuition, okay? Because intuition is just, first of all, intuition, the word itself, tuition is connected with the word teaching or teacher in some way, and inner. So you're receiving, it's teaching from within, and really there is no outer and within because it's all one, it's all reflected. The inner is reflected on the outer, etc. So basically, just being able to feel it. When you know it, you know it. Intuition is like, it's not from the thought part of you that thinks. And that's probably the best way to get in touch with you. The less you think, the smarter you are, actually, the more intelligent you are. It's almost like we're, do you remember the old-fashioned bumper cars at the fair? Okay? And we're like a bumper car, and life or God, whatever you call that, whatever your word is like the ceiling part where, where the rod is gathering the power, the electricity. I like the word intelligence, energy. And we're bringing as much of that energy and intelligence through ourselves and our human nervous system as possible. But if we're thinking too much, the more we think, it takes a tremendous amount of energy to be able to think and identify as a limited human being, as a very limited self, identified completely with this body, when deep inside you know that the truth of what you are is unlimited and eternal. But to keep that going takes a tremendous amount of energy. So the less you think, the more open you become, the more energy you have, the more that power can come through you. But when you're thinking, a lot of us are just thinking constantly. It's like we think that we're the thoughts and like the thinker. There is no thinker. The thinker is just the thoughts, and they start to make, that is the source of the ego. That's the framework of the ego. That's what constructs the ego. I'm not saying never think. Obviously, that would be stupid. But what I'm saying is, if you need to think and you're just getting up from your couch to go to the kitchen, and you're lost in, you can't even remember how you got there because you were thinking about something that happened to you 10 years ago, for example. I mean, that might be okay sometimes to reflect and analyze and learn from something, but in a lot of cases, 90% of the time we're thinking it's not necessary. We're walking down the hallway. We don't need to think in order to walk. We don't need to think in order to be. We don't need to think in order to exist, in order to see, in order to hear, in order to receive intuition. So my point is, thinking is almost like the brakes on intuition. So when you see signs, symbols, anything, don't try to figure it out so much. Sometimes thought will translate the intuition into thought. That's the difference, that you'll start to get more and more ability at being able to discern as you get experience, trusting your intuition more and more.
Yeah. The best way to stop thinking is to, well, I could say meditate, but you'll probably be, if you've never meditated before, that probably will be the hardest. You find something that gets your mind off of thinking. For me personally, I like to go for a walk in nature and look at the water. I mean, I live so close, like look at the lake. I need water. See, I'm a water baby, and I just need my water, okay? And I love to look at the moon. I love to look at the sun. I love my crystals. I love essential oils. I love all of these things that help me get into, and I drink water a lot. I drink a lot of water, but it's very important to get your mind out of that state of thinking, because when you're thinking, like Dave was saying, that it's breaks. You align yourself with love. And how do you do it? How? It's like, well, you got to find what you love. If you are into working out, if you have a sport that's your favorite, if you love to play tennis, I don't know, I'm just giving you an example of the things that you love to do. You got to get yourself out there to do them. You got to have a purpose. You got to get yourself moving. Like Dave probably has some techniques. Like Dave does have a lot of techniques on that.
Yeah, I mean, the first one is to just ignore your thinking. Just actually ignore it.
Tell it to shut up.
Don't even tell it to shut up. Let it go. Just don't get involved with it. Like, you're thinking, you don't have to, I'm going to go over there with that thought. Oh, I better go over that thought. Just let them go. Let them go. Just ignore them. And pay attention to maybe your breathing, your sensations. The sound. That's why nature's so good. The sounds, the colors, the physical sensations of being alive in that moment keep you more present. And another way is to, I said stop thinking. See, I've stopped thinking now. I don't remember what I was going to say, but here it is. Just another great way is, and most of us are really bad at this, to listen with full attention when somebody's speaking to you. And I don't mean just understanding their words, but actually receiving their full energy with your whole body. Like you're actually, instead of feeling like you're listening to their words, but there's a part of you inside, oh, I gotta say something, I gotta say something. You know, that's ego, right? Because ego wants to, and there's nothing wrong with it. Don't judge yourself for any of this. It's just, but just notice it and just sort of go, oh, that's interesting. And you don't have to follow it. Just let it go and just actually surrender to really let that person speak and just be a space. People call it nowadays, I think I've seen the term holding space, if that's how you want to think of it. Just, be a space for that person to talk and just listen and feel the energy. And then when you get a turn to talk, the universe will give it to you.
Yeah, it's not rocket science. It really isn't. But it's one of those things that it's the hardest thing to get out. Like I can tell somebody when I do a reading and they will ask the same questions over and over because they're overthinking, but they'll ask it in a different way, thinking that they'll get the answer that they want. Okay, somebody said something earlier, and that's what I'm making this point. Like, how do you trust the signs, even if it's not aligned? Let's see, there was a question here. How do you trust the signs, even if your reality isn't matching up to what the universe is telling you?
I spoke about that earlier, but why don't you say it?
Well, yeah, it's how you trust it. Oh, hi Paula. How do you trust the signs is, you know what? You just surrender with it. Instead of saying, like, trying to change it, you just say, okay, well, there's a higher calling. Maybe the route has changed into a different direction, and maybe what I'm looking for, I have to go the different direction in order to get to where I need to get to for my highest good. So you need to go with it. Kind of like when you're driving. We got ice here in North America, where we're at. It's in the winter time.
Because it's, go ahead.
Yeah, well.
I was going to say why, but it doesn't matter.
Well, because it snows, and then it melts, and then it ices.
The temperature fluctuates from just below freezing to just above freezing.
I'm like, WTF, why did it goes down to below,
Sometimes.
At first it goes like below zero, and it snows just when it's at 32, and then it just minus ices. So anyways, my point is, I forgot what I was saying, but anyways, when you're on ice and you're driving, and if you've ever been in a car that sways when the ice, what's your first impression? To try to go the other way? No, you sway with it because you need to go with it and you surrender. Because by going like this, you're actually going to crash into something. So you want to just try to, well, I'm not I didn't take defensive driving in ice, but I'm just saying this is what happens with me. I just go, and then all of a sudden, you swerve back, and you just go back onto your path, onto the direction that you were going into. So it's very important that you trust the signs. Like, I read cards, like that is my flashcards, and I read crystals, I read cards, I read astrology, I read my psychic impressions that I get. And I just trust, even if it's not for my highest good, I say, okay, I think it's not I say, okay, you know what? It's not aligned to what I'm going through, but I'm just going to do it anyways. And it always matches up to the actual truth of the matter. It's pretty amazing.
Why don't we talk a bit, like I could give a technique that I use that helps me, and we can talk about some other ones.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just going to share a very powerful technique. I've been using it for many years. Actually, I used it when we were first getting together, even. And that is just closing your eyes. Again, if you have a very busy life, you have kids and whatever, okay, this only takes a few minutes. If you have to maybe, I don't know, get up earlier, if you go to work, do it when you go to the washroom, find that 2 minutes somehow. There's got to be a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. You can find 2 or 3 minutes somehow. Maybe you can't, but then you have to find out how to do it maybe while you're chopping vegetables, getting dinner ready for the family or something. I don't know. But I'm just trying to say, where there's a will, there's a way. And all you need to do is get quiet for 10 breaths even. Just it doesn't have to be forced breathing. Always relaxed, spontaneous breathing, but just giving yourself relaxation, getting your mind to quiet down for, anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds. And then imagine the situation. Let's say you're trying to make a decision between two things. Imagine this situation and put it in your solar plexus and see how it feels. Don't try to tell it how it should feel. Don't interfere with your mind in any way. Just put it there and be open to how it actually feels in this moment. Okay? And once you get a feeling of how it feels, clear that out, take another couple of breaths, and then take the other situation and put it in your solar plexus and see how it feels. And it's amazing. The one that's really the possibility for you that might be a course of action you might want to consider taking is the one that feels lighter and more expansive, whereas something, you might feel excited and nervous about one, it still might be a good choice, but that's different. If it's not the right way for you to go, you'll feel literally like no good, a constriction of some kind that you don't want to go forward. Just learn to trust those psychic impressions and practice that. Practice that. It will be helpful with, even in your daily life, you'll be able to get intuitive messages more quickly because you're practicing discerning between things. So just think of simple things in your life right now, even what you're going to have to eat, or what movie you're going to go see, and use that technique, and you'll start to be able to get more aware of where your intuition, how it feels for you.
Yeah. JI 11 through 11 says that it's hard for her. Hold on. I really need to get quiet. I feel like everyone is focused on me when I'm in public and social situations and get anxiety. Put what's in my mind into my solar.
That sounds like something a little bit more in depth, like maybe releasing kind of techniques.
Yeah, but that's social anxiety. And, I totally understand because I used to have that. I used to have the same issue and I had to hide it. This was years and years and years ago, because I would think in my mind, what are they thinking about me? What about, it's just a thing. It's just a thought. You know what? You're not lost. I'm going to tell you right now, you're not lost. Because there's a lot of people that have that. And sometimes we just get lost, and it's best not to entertain it. That's the best thing to do. Is I always say, who cares what they think of me? That's the one thing that I say. That's the one thing that helps me to snap out of it. I say, who cares? I'm going to let my freak flag fly, and I don't care. Look at how I do these videos. I've been doing these videos since 2014, and all kinds of videos like this. And I started teaching Zumba, and I said, I don't care what anybody thinks about me. I'm just going to follow my heart's desire, and I want to help people. I just have a purpose, and that makes me feel good when I help. When I help people, when I do something for someone, like if I volunteer, I used to volunteer at a cat shelter. I know it's a cat shelter, but they're so cute. Animals, like just connecting to my cat, like those things, you're not alone. I'm just going to tell you right now, you're not alone. And so so you have trauma, so major trauma, like, you know what? Try to look at it into a past tense, like just try to look at it as the past, That's how I see it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly. It's sort of something, for me personally, I use a technique, I specialize in a technique of letting go of negativity, or letting go of limiting feelings such as your social anxiety, however you want to label it, and whatever you're experiencing, okay?
It's amazing.
And I've never, in my own experience anyways, encountered a negative feeling or situation that I haven't been able to let go of. And I haven't always, I've gone through, the reason that we're both of us are here today is because we have both gone through a lot of stuff to get to where we are now. And so the things we're teaching they work, we're teaching them and sharing them because they've worked for us for me personally, I've, a long time ago now, decades where I turned my life around. But, if you're interested in learning about that, I have free resources on my website. You just subscribe to my newsletter, and there's a free PDF report on how to let go of negative feelings that you'll get. You'll be able to use the tools for yourself. I do one-on-one sessions with people as well, but if you're not up for that, that's, you can use the PDF report to to start to use that perspective for yourself. And you'll find if you do resonate with that and you read it and understand it, you will be able to let go of even things that have been in place for years, for many years, that seem to have been in place. You'll be able to start to dissolve it quite quickly. So, and there's also a meditation for relaxation, but it's mostly, the PDF can possibly help you if you're interested in that. So it's a freebie with subscription.
Yeah. Lotus says that she has issues with communicating. Yeah, I hear those. Yeah, I was the same way. Communicating with people. Maybe you could say how I can't improve myself through this. Or, wait, did I read that right? Okay. With communication with people, maybe.
She wants to know how she can improve with communicating with people.
Okay. Well, that's one of the, like, that's a huge thing. Like, I have to say, and I know a lot of people that feel the same way. I myself. I mean, I say that because I come from that experience and I know what you're going through. I really do. I just, you know what, like I said, the things that we talked about at the beginning of the live of what I do and how to get out of that space, because a lot of stuff we get in our minds, and it comes from, a lot of it is from cords, from energies, from different people that we take on. And I'm not going to get too metaphysical about it because I don't want to lose you. So what you need to do is you need to just, like what Dave was talking about, he's got a great PDF and great resources that you can like work with, okay? On my website, I have 2 meditations that I created. One, how to cleanse your chakras, and another one, love and abundance. And also I have a coloring book that I created. That's my artwork. I know somebody noticed my high priestess. And it's just, and there's affirmations. It's very mystical and it's free just by signing up to my newsletter. And when you do these things, when you meditate, when you're doing something creative, it helps you to get out of your head. And you know what? You need to surround yourself. Maybe you're feeling energies from other people and it's hard for you to communicate because it's like your own mind, you're getting your own way. It's just something that we tend to do. We're thinking, well, what are they thinking about me? Or how are they, like, how am I projecting myself? What am I, it's just the mind telling you that, and you're not alone. That's what I'm trying to say. You're not alone. And we get anxiety and fearful in the moment. It's like, I'm afraid to speak my truth, or something to hide or be ashamed of, but I don't. Yes, and it's just, yeah, I hear you. I hear you, and sending you lots of love, because it's not an easy thing. And a lot of my clients are the same. Like, we are all in this together. We are all here as one, all of us.
Yeah. But look, this is your life and it's okay. First of all, be easy on yourself. Don't judge yourself. Yes. We all have things to overcome in ourselves that aren't always serving our highest good. Okay. Secondly, it's your life, and you can actually, nobody's going to save you, nobody's going to change it for you. Yes, we have guides and high teachers sending us energy and things like this, putting the door there for us, but we are the ones that have to walk through that door. We have to find that courage to take that first step in some way. So know that you have that courage within you. Think of the things that you've done successfully in your life. There has to be, write them down if you have to. Write down the things that you've succeeded with that show you that you are a capable person. And maybe that is a weakness, quote unquote, but it might not be, it's not black and white like that. And then the next thing would be to actually, this is what great athletes do that helps them compete more closely to their full potential. As an example, and performers, musicians, actors, they use visualization. Actually, take a scenario that you think, I should have spoken up in this way, but I didn't, and bring that scenario to mind and change it. Change how you feel inside. Be yourself in the scene with the other people or person, and actually change how you feel inside, and even change the words that you say and how you respond, and even speaking up for yourself until it starts to feel natural for you, until you can hold that image together for a minute or two of you actually changing, because that starts to rewire your brain and your nervous system. And then that can gradually, if you do it for days in a row, and it doesn't have to be a big deal. It can just, again, a few minutes of that. Even just as you're falling asleep at night, do these visualizations. It'll start to translate into your real life, because you don't have to stay in that mold. That mold that you're in was given to you by your family and the way that you were formed in the past. It's not who you really are. And you don't have to stay stuck there. You're not a victim of that. It might, yes, be challenging and take some work to break through. And as Mary said, maybe some of the people too might not even be, they might not even be like your vibe, your tribe type of thing. So you can't really feel at ease with them anyways. Maybe that's what the message is also. So there are many things to start paying attention to, but the first thing is, don't beat yourself up or judge yourself harshly. Just see what you can learn and how you can grow from it.
Yeah. It's not about being perfect. Trust me. It's not about trying to get, like, if you're having issues with that, just know that you are perfect. It's just the way, just the way Creator made you. Goddess, God, Source is just the way you are. You're beautiful. And you gotta just, what I like to do, because I get, like we all have those feelings, then sometimes they come back, So what I like to do is, as soon as I like to, the affirmation, like Dave was talking about the visualizations. I like to do affirmations. Honestly, I made a painting that says grateful, and I always say, that's our word, grateful. Can I show you something? We always say thank you. Well, it's probably backwards, but I have it on these are just these magnets that go on the water. And it just says, it's just affirmations. But I always, when I wake up in the morning, I look in the mirror. It's like I take a little while. Dave's like, what are you doing in there?
Marsha.
He calls me Marsha because it's like, Marsha Brady from Brady Bunch. Remember that show? Before your time. Anyways, I just say, I actually visualize, I look at myself and I say, I'm beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. And everybody loves me. I love myself. I love you. If you can look at yourself, and I know this is a hard one, really. This is a really hard one, to actually tell yourself, I love you. So I would like you to do that. If you can look at yourself in the mirror with feeling and say, I love you. And really look at your eyes. And you may cry. You may feel emotional. Yeah, and that's okay. That's a release. That's a release. You got this. Like, you got to look at yourself as like it's the inner child. It's the child that's inside of you. It's a little girl, a little boy that's inside of you. And you got to take care of. We got to take, like, how would you treat your little 2-year-old? Or a 2-year-old. If you saw a 2-year-old, you would be really kind. And so that's what we have to do to ourselves. So that's why Dave was saying, don't judge yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. And that's easy. I mean, I know when we say that, it's like if I said don't look up, what's the first thing you're gonna do? You're gonna look up. So I'm just saying, just nurture yourself. Instead of don't say that. Like, okay, the word don't, like when we actually, it's a psychological thing. When we say don't judge yourself, you're gonna judge yourself. Instead, just put your hands here and say, I love you. Look at yourself in the mirror. Smile. And I love you. Look at yourself and just know you're perfect. You're beautiful just the way you are, And so Homa says she cries. And it's good to cry. I wish I can cry. I don't cry as often as it's a release. When I say cry, I'm one of those people that I cry inside, but it's hard for me to cry. And when I do, it's a release. And it's very important. When I paint, I cry. So that's when I release it. It's an energy when we do that. So it's important to treat yourself as you would treat a young child. And really, like when you comb your hair, how would you comb your son or your daughter or a child's hair, or your cat or your dog? And you would be very gentle. You would be very gentle with them. And that's what you want to do. Like, everything has a vibration and has that. So it's just something that you just got to work on. And Paula Palmeria says that she can't cry. And so, yeah, it's one of those things, but you can. When you open up the heart chakra, it's not that there's anything wrong. It's just more like, I think it's like, maybe there's a little part of us that says, don't cry. You shouldn't cry, but it's just, I'm always wanting to be the strong one. So that's maybe why, but I'm working on it. Dave helps me. And
I don't know. I don't.
No, but you have.
I don't cry.
You don't cry, but it's still...
I only cry during movies or something like that.
But because of you, I cry more, and it's
or
just...
like when my dad died.
Yeah.
Things like that, I'll cry.
When I connect with spirit, when I pray, when I meditate, when I do yoga, I cry. I mean, those are the things. I have to be doing some kind of activity to cry, but crying is a good thing. It's a shedding, it's a release, And there's stones that actually help you. That's what I wanted to get onto. Sorry, I'm just changing the subject.
Can I put a quick thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Look for your strengths, not your weaknesses. That's all I wanted to say, anyways. About
That's
what we were
true.
talking about earlier.
Yeah,
with,
like
the girl with social anxiety.
We're all in this together. We're all on the same path together. We're here to help one another and here to help each. We're sisters and brothers to each other, and we're all one. Okay. And that's why we do this.
But it is possible to be mostly happy most of the time.
Yes.
It is possible. That's what we want to share.
Yeah.
That's the message we're here
Yeah.
to share. It's possible. It's within your grasp to be mostly happy most of the time.
Honoring yourself is a big thing too. And then we're going to do talks, more and more of these lives about talks about different topics on things like that, and tutorials and some videos, and we want to do more.
It doesn't happen like that.
No, it doesn't.
It does take a tremendous amount of work.
Yes.
It's taken me decades, actually. But it's possible.
Yes.
And every generation, I believe, is gradually, with more and more people, it's going to be easier.
And we're offering the tools. We're giving you the
there,
tools. We just want to give you a little bit of the medicine, a little bit of it, right?
Yeah.
You know.
What about the, were you going to say anything about
I was going to say about, well, the tarot. Well, first of all,
crystals.
Yeah, crystals. When I'm doing a reading, I like to have, when I really want the truth, like because that's what this talk is about how to know if it's your ego or if it's your intuition. Well, I like to get right to the truth. And actually, we have a Scorpio moon, and it's going to be a new moon on the weekend, which is really intense. And we're going into shadow season. So I like to, I don't know why I said that. I mean, it has something, it's irrelevant. It's actually what I like to do. I have intentions of what I'm going to do on Saturday. So anyways, but I do like to dig deep. Okay, I like to get into my core, and I like to really find things out. And when I'm doing readings, I always have my obsidian. I have a little panda bear. I love, by bears. I love bears. And I love the, thank you. I appreciate that. And this is an egg. It's an obsidian. It's actually rainbow obsidian, but you can't see it in the light here because there's anyways. Obsidian is one of the crystals that helps you to discern the truth, and it also protects you from White Walkers. It's but anyways, it does. It protects you from the psychic attack. That's what it's known for. And I always like to keep them on my table or close by. I just got a really big one from the crystal show the other day, and that baby's at our door protecting, and it just helps to, when we tune into it, you can really find your truth, and you can actually get past all the talk. Now, I'm not just saying go buy an obsidian. That's not my point. My point is that I tune into these guys. These are tools, and they assist me on that, along with cleansing the energy and grounding myself before, because that's why sometimes I can't do too many readings during the day because I have to be in that state. Okay, and I use my cards to help to get the intuition, and it helps to it assists my intuition. Can I say that? It's just like they have a mind of their own. Every card has a meaning on them. And we're in the middle of it, creating a tarot course. We had a choice. We need to do some filming. For you guys.
We read for yourself.
Right. Read for yourself. So we said, well, we can do two things today. We can do a live and talk, or we can film. Well, we got a little bit of time. Let's just do a live. I want to connect with you guys because love is what it's all about. And I wanted to connect with you. Both are love for me. I love to do both. So each card has zillions of meanings to each card. Okay. And these cards the energy of them, or I should say the colors and the symbolic meaning have just different, what it is. This is the four voices. And as you can see, you can kind of get the message of what this card is telling you. Some self-care, some self-love, and that probably is the message here on how to get out of the ego. If you are so much into your mind, you might be putting too much energy into trying to get things done. And that's what I was talking about. I can't do too many readings a day because I get burnt out. I have a certain number, a certain limit of how many readings I do. And after that, I'm like, okay, could I, and I get your guys' DMs. Can you do a reading for me tonight? And can you do a reading today? If I am not aligned to my truth, I won't be able to read you correctly. I mean, I'll read you, but I won't give you that special, all the voices that are here, the voices of all the Claires. Right,
and I just want to bring up, you made me think of something with intuition. For example, I said, when when Mary and I were getting together, and of course I'm a guy, so I'm, I'm initiating things with her. This is whatever, 14, 15 years ago or whatever, and I was using cards to help me tune into my intuition. Here's an example. Let's say a question I get a lot I often get is, should I reach out to that person, or when am I going to hear from them, or whatever. Okay, let's say as an example, you were reading cards for yourself and you got this card that Mary showed you, 4 Voices. And this card's a lot about self-care and rest, as an example, but don't just go by the traditional meaning. See what comes into your mind from looking at the picture at that moment within the context of your question at that present moment. See the card new every time you look at them. And something might jump into your head and say, yeah, it's time to hold back. I don't want to reach out to him right now. It's not the right time. That might be what comes into your head. Trust that. Or, the word voices might jump out at you, and you might have got like Mary said, a clairaudient message in your head, or a song playing with a certain word that says, like Mary got the song, some Madonna song, Jump. And that's when she knew to go for it with me, because it kept playing in her head.
Over
like
and over.
Voices, you know what I mean? Like there's different ways and that the intuition can work with the cards, and that's all going to be in our course as well. But just showing you
how to read cards for yourself. And there's little exercises that I have that are a cinch to get you started, because you'll feel it, right? Because I'm all about that, and we'll teach you how to use the cards for other things other than just reading, like law of attraction, and it'll all be in there.
But you can start doing it now.
Yeah.
Like trusting your intuition now in your life. Like the things that we've shared today can help you to start practicing.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's Alexa Zaz. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing your handle right. Do you feel the need to do self-Reiki after readings as not to retain energy from the client? Absolutely. But you can actually just, when you're talking, you don't know, it doesn't have to be during a client, because sometimes when you're talking to somebody, you'll get that, and so, okay, I'm going to go and do some self-Reiki. How about just, like, see your hands? You can just put them around your waist like this, over your solar plexus, and you're giving yourself Reiki while you were doing the reading. Or if you find yourself, okay, I got to use the hands, and I got to talk with my hands, one hand here, just one, and just igniting the power symbol, okay? Just doing that. And that's why I like to have my obsidian, and I like to have stones, because this protects me from that. Sometimes I do the Lord's Prayer after. It all depends if I remember whatever comes to me. But I'm always having the black stones around me, and sage, and my little raven and crow feathers around too. Do what works for you. That's what I would say. Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I use my technique that I teach. I spend anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes just connecting with my beingness, with my I amness, with my presence, and anything that was stirred up in my ego in that reading or in that interaction will be dissolved. And that's how I do it.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm just getting a message to pull a card for all of us. Excuse me. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, what do we need to know for our highest good? Everybody that's watching this live and watching the recorded, the replay, what do we need to know? Hierophant. I'm going to show you this card. The Hierophant. Now, these are from the Muse Tarot. Okay, they're new. And I love to read brand new cards, because I love to look at the symbolism. I don't like to get used to too many cards, but I do have my favorites. Yes, absolutely. But this actually represents higher learning. It represents as you can see, she's sitting on a mountain, and there's this other little figure that's right here. I just noticed that. This is the first time I'm looking at this card, really looking at it. And there's lights. There's like little candles beside her. So she is igniting her way, but she's also she's like bigger than life. She's like goddess energy, and she is naked. So she is showing her everything, but at the same time, she is giving her higher wisdom. And you can look at the colors, because they would mean something. So this is what it's telling us, that we need to know that there's something higher than ourselves and get out of our minds. And I know when I said that word, when you say something like get out of your mind, you're going to think, that's okay. most important thing is to find a place of gratitude. If you can find what you got, like Dave said, make a list of the things that you have. Find a place of gratitude. Find something that gets you out of your mind, and just look at what's higher inside of you and what you love to do. Find something that you love to do. If you can do that, if you can, when I say love to do, I'm not talking about simple things. I'm talking about just, if you feel like taking a break, take a break. If you feel like going for, well, I said simple things, but that's, to me, that those are big things sometimes when you're working really hard, and it's hard to take time off from work, or sometimes you need a mental health day, but it's a higher calling, it's a higher learning. That's what the Hierophant. What does the Hierophant mean to you?
Well, in this context, because we've been talking about how to know the difference between your ego and your intuition, it's telling me to have faith in your intuitive messages, however you receive them, to have faith and start acting on them. Maybe keep a journal, and the more you have faith in them, the more you will receive messages, and the stronger your confidence will be with knowing the difference between.
Yeah. Pippa asks, yeah, have faith. Pippa asks, I've fallen for someone who lives in another country. Am I being foolish? No. They are mirrors, as I always say. People come into our lives as a mirror, and this person is showing you something that you have within yourself. Doesn't mean that you have to live with that person for the rest of your life, but it's kind of like this person actually shows you something, and that's a beautiful thing, regardless if you're meant to stay with him and you're meant to like meet him or whatever, you're meant to actually feel those beautiful feelings that you're feeling right now.
Absolutely.
That's what it's, because
it's opening up your heart chakra.
Right. So go for it. I mean, when I say go for it, I mean like open your heart and love yourself and love the person from afar, but at the same time, love you. Like that's what you need to do. Aw, thank you.
I see that it was for Pippa, that exactly what you said, babe. It was an unexpected, sort of spontaneous joy and a reason to celebrate your life right now, and just enjoy it with or at least soften your expectations. It's almost impossible to have no expectations on things, but if you can at least soften your expectations a little bit, you can enjoy life much more, and you can enjoy this whole process with this guy of whatever it's meant to be right now, and just enjoy it.
Rach BP says, I keep watching videos and hearing about journaling. I know this is something I have to do. Yeah. Get creative with it. You know what? Get creative with it. Get yourself some stickers, some fancy markers, and just make it look really, really cool, right? And it's very important that you journal. Journaling is because you can be accountable. Write down your goals, write down your plans, write down all the things that you like. You just keep it in one book that you can just look at, right? And or your phone.
Some people like it online. I was just going to say.
If you like it, just do it on your phone, the notepad, something like that.
Whatever works for you the best.
And Dolphe says, this is everything I've been struggling with. Oh, sorry. Struggling with trusting my intuition and the signs. I am going to start a journal. Yes. What it means if a person won't open up to themselves, they won't open up to you, well, you can't force them. And we're running out of time, so I'm going to, you know what, we're running out of time, so I don't want to cut this off. I want to save it so you can watch it later, the replay. I'm going to be posting it to my YouTube, actually. It's my YouTube channel, which is Psychic Soulmate. And I'm just going to have the live there, so if you want to go take a look at it later, or whatever, I'm not sure when I'm going to post it, but for now, if you're interested in getting a reading from either one of us, go to my website, psychicsoulmatereading.com. Subscribe to my newsletter so you can get the first dibs on our tarot course, which is coming out really soon. We're so excited for you guys to see it, and you will get a early bird special discount when you sign up to my newsletter. Everybody will get that, and you'll get first dibs on it, right? And maybe some other goodies and some other specials just for signing up. So go to psychicsoulmatereading.com, subscribe, make sure that you get the confirmation email and you confirm. Don't email me and say, confirm my email. No, you got to confirm it yourself. And you'll get some goodies too at the same time. And I got, like I said, the coloring book and the 2 meditations. And yeah, you can also subscribe to Dave's newsletter, which is also davidsonjaeger.com, and you can get the PDF, and he's got some really great stuff about letting go. And anyways, we're gonna get cut off any second, so I'm so happy that you guys were here, and we'll do this again. And I hope you all have an awesome, gorgeous day.
Bye.